Welcome to Party Crashers. We're your hosts, Lori James and Nikkei Lewis. Today, we're chatting with Itika Oldwine, owner of Oldvine Florals, a luxury floral boutique in downtown LA. Hey, girl. Hey, how are you?
I'm well. How are you guys?
Yeah, I'm excited to have you. So let's get started. Tell us a little bit about yourself, what you do now, like just a little bit of everything.
My name is Itika Oldwine. I'm originally from the Bay Area, from the Northern California, and I grew up in the Bay. I'm very proud of that, California girl. But I came to Los Angeles and went to UCLA, so that was kind of my first time really like living in LA. And so much has happened between here and now. I could take up the entire interview, but I won't because we just want to get into when I started, working in events. And actually, it really started when I was working for the Oprah Show.
What?
And yes, I worked for the Oprah Winfrey Show from, oh God, I'm so aging myself, but it's okay. I worked for the Oprah Winfrey Show from an intern, and that was probably like, oh my God, the 90s, late 90s. No, it wasn't. Gosh, I was in college in the late 90s. From an intern, I think it was 2002, early 2000s. Yes, yes, yes. So I interned for Oprah in 2002, and I stayed with Harpo Productions until the last show in 2012.
Wow. Oh, wow.
So that was
Nobody stays that long. That's amazing. Good for you.
Well, you don't really quit Oprah.
Right.
I was gonna say that. Do people there actually stay the whole time?
Everyone. And really, to be honest, it was rare that anyone got let go. She was, I think her hiring team was just really excellent.
Wow.
Good.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So
Dag, I missed my
I
moment.
know,
I should have
me
went
too.
in.
yeah, it was a moment. It was a moment. But yeah, we all kind of, everyone that I knew essentially when I started, we were pretty much all there until the end. So I worked.
And what were you doing there?
I worked in several different departments, which is one great thing about being able to work for her production studio specifically, because I was able to jump around and really get a lot of good tools. So I started in PR and media relations, and then I moved to her audience department where we booked her audience, but it was lots of operations involved in her audience bookings because we booked like the car show audience. So like you get a car.
Oh, yeah.
And we did a lot of specific audiences for each show. It's like every seat filled. If it's about a Mother's Day show, every seat in the house has to be a mom. Or if it's a car show, every seat in the house has to be someone that is deserving of a free car. And if it's Tom Cruise, it has to be their biggest fan. So there was a lot of operations, and we also did a lot of shows outside of the studio in Chicago. So our team created, her audience for shows that were at Madison Square Garden or at the Kodak Theater for her after Oscar show. So we did a lot of that outside of the studio, which honed my operation skills even more.
I wish I knew you back then. I want to be part of the audience.
I know. Were you based in Chicago?
Yep. I was in Chicago. I went to University of Chicago for grad school. And that's why I was like,
oh, okay.
I wasn't there in the 90s and late 90s. I was in UCLA. It wasn't until I'm like, everything is the same now, though. I mean, come on.
I know.
Right?
But yeah, I went to grad school at University of Chicago, and that's when I started my internship at the Oprah Show.
So how did you transition from the Oprah Show to Oldwine Floral, luxury florals? Well, how did that transition happen?
It was interesting because when I left the Oprah Show, I had actually had a little production experience outside of the Oprah Winfrey Show. And what I knew was that no other studio, film company, production company, in my opinion, was going to treat me as good as Oprah did. I was just like, I've been there. I know what it's like. It can be super, super grunt work. And we worked hard, trust me, but we also were rewarded big time. And so when it was time for me to move from the Oprah Winfrey Show, I told myself I didn't want to work in TV anymore, but I wanted to stay in that fast-paced operations kind of production feel. And so I decided to look at places in Los Angeles because I wanted to leave Chicago and come back to LA. And I was looking at places in Los Angeles that did events. And one of those places happened to be AEG, which is the entertainment group, AEG, LA Live, where the Clippers, Lakers, Kings play, etc. And they happened to have a marketing position open in their marketing department. And it was like everything I ever wanted. It was like I could work in events and I could learn marketing, because at that time marketing was becoming like a big thing. Like there was a time where PR was the thing, right? You get a publicist, you write a press release, and then as the digital world started coming into play, it started being more about marketing, because a press release wasn't enough. Then you have to do social media, you have to do email marketing, you have to do digital spends online. So I wanted to learn that, and I still wanted to work in like this fast-paced events environment. So it was like a perfect fit, and they actually hired me. I think Oprah helped.
Well, when you come in with Oprah on, I like coming with Oprah on your resume. They're like, yep, okay.
Pretty much. And I knew that too. I knew leaving the Oprah Show, I would probably have carte blanche to get hired wherever. And so I really wanted to shift and go somewhere that was going to take me into that next career. And so I went to AEG and I worked for their marketing team, and I loved every minute of it. I learned everything I could about marketing. It was literally like going to get my MBA in marketing. It was very like boots to the ground. Here's the copy, or create copy, post it here. We need to put signage up at the Staples Center for the playoffs. And this is, when the Clippers were in the playoffs, the Kings won the Stanley Cup. Posting on their social media pages, and their email list is like hundreds of thousands of people. You know what I mean? And so it was like, oh my gosh, like I get to do all of these things with little to no experience. But I worked with a really, really smart team that had been there for a while. So even though I was a fish out of water, I pretty much was being led by people with great experience.
Do you think that you would have gotten hired now, like today's day, coming from the same type of experience and background, like I say 2000, maybe not 2020, because 2020 is a crazy year, but 2019, do you think you would have gotten hired for that same position with the experience that you had?
It's very interesting. I'm really not sure, because that was 2012. When I think back, marketing was kind of like a new area that people were exploring. But I also think my experience from the Oprah Show and my education, I went to UCLA and I went to University of Chicago, I really think it propped me up. Secondly, the salary was nothing. I mean, it was terrible. I'm not even here to tell you I was making any kind of money. But I usually tell people they paid me in Laker tickets. It's like, okay, we know you can't pay your rent, but you got these sweet tickets for free.
And you didn't have to pay for your MBA, which is like $100,000.
Exactly.
So that was good.
Exactly. So the salary was really, really mediocre. It really was. But I was okay with that because I had a savings from the Oprah Show. So shout out to like being responsible. And I knew that I couldn't really demand more money. So between the salary and my resume, I could have potentially have been hired in 2019. Definitely not 2020.
Yeah, I asked that only because I feel like everybody's going for these positions now, the same type of like events and marketing, social media managers, like brand, like those are like the hot positions, so it's just interesting. Like times have changed a lot since 2012.
No, I mean, and the other thing is, which I always am happy that I had it, I was a direct referral to the VP of the sales and marketing team. So people are always like, oh, nepotism or that kind of thing. But that's how it works. You know what I mean? I'm always like, can you find a referral somehow, somewhere, like 7 degrees of separation? I don't know what it looks like. But if you can just get your resume in there, like on their desk, then you have, shattered the competition in a big way. So that also helped me.
Yeah, that's a good point. Definitely. Because I mean, they get like hundreds of how many resumes all the time. So,
and okay, so then you went from Oprah and you went to
Mm-hmm.
AG, and then how do we get from
Oldvine.
there
So I
to the next?
decided that I wanted
Yeah.
to do more than what I was doing at AG. It was very specific to their brand, obviously. A lot of the same messaging was going out, and I was wanting to make more money, and there really wasn't a lot of room for growth. I ended up wanting to kind of do my own thing, and I really wanted to get more into like the digital marketing sphere. So AEG, it was a lot of digital marketing involved, obviously, but a lot of the work that I did was more so signage and operations. And so I was like, oh, I want to do more digital marketing, but I did not really have the experience. But what I believed was a smaller company would hire me as their digital marketer from my resume. And so I went out and started
Mm-hmm.
looking for jobs, or I actually said I was a marketer and I had my own marketing business. I hate to say that I kind of said that because I wasn't like a LLC. I didn't get anything like a sole proprietorship, or I wasn't official, but I wanted to present myself
Mm-hmm.
as more so I was working for myself as a marketer, and I was assisting these smaller companies that may not have the big budget, but I had the experience. And so I went
Yes.
and I got hired by someone that was looking for a digital marketer. And I started kind of getting clients. And one of my clients happened to be a florist, a really popular florist in Los Angeles. They did the flowers for the Four Seasons, Beverly Hills for decades. So they were the in house florist for the Four Seasons Beverly Hills. And then they had all of these celebrity clients like Demi Moore, Nicole Richie, big brands, Cartier, Chateau Marmont, Louis Vuitton, and they did not have any like carbon footprint. They were not in the digital sphere at all. So there was no website, there was no social media, there was nothing. But they had these major, major clients because they really did it the old school way. Like they had a publicist and they paid a lot of money for like that kind of PR stuff that people were doing, I guess, when they started. And so I wanted to kind of bring them into this new era, and they were fine with that. And then when I started working there, I was like, oh my God, I love flowers. It just happened. I was like, this is like amazing. These flowers are so beautiful. They smell good. They're pretty. Look how lovely they look inside of those vases. And I just fell in love with the idea of working with flowers while I was there. And that was from 2000, I think it was around 2015 until I left to start my own company in 2017.
That's wild.
Yeah.
That's so wild. It's not
Yeah.
like you grew up in like the floral industry, but it's just something that you grew to love, like you stepped upon it kind of
Yes.
thing.
So you had the roundabout way to get to florals and a very interesting journey, starting off, I feel like you started at the top in production, and then worked your way around that whole field. But working
Mm-hmm.
for Oprah, right? So obviously she's a black woman.
Yeah.
She's owned that. It's very much so in front of her. She leads with that all the time. How did that shift happen? Like how did that feel going from working from somebody like Oprah Winfrey to now kind of being in LA, being a black girl in LA, trying to like go into this like production world? Do you find it was difficult being a minority in this industry? And like, what struggles
You
have
know
you
what?
had?
To be honest, I did. Um, Working for Oprah was pretty much like my first real job, if you will, other than like working at Gap in high school or working at like a wet seal in
Hmm.
college. um, so I was working for this powerful media mogul who looked like me, who cared about women, who cared about Black women and Black people.
Right.
And she hired, for the most part, women. So I worked around all of these women, and everybody was super supportive. From that was my experience. um, Everyone was supportive, everyone was encouraging. Obviously, you got called out if you weren't on your p's and q's and on your toes, but for the most part everyone was really striving for greatness because we worked for someone who brought that out of us. And so it was very it was amazing. And when I started at AEG, I maybe after 6 months, like that first 6 months where you're kind of like learning the ropes and getting to know people, I learned very quickly that AG was, and I'm calling them out, but hopefully they understand. It was a very different place. It really did feel like an old boys club, to be honest. I worked in marketing, but I also worked in sales and marketing. And the sales team was predominantly white males and a lot of
Gotcha.
younger guys. So that kind of, I think, helped in a lot of ways because we were kind of in the same age range and we liked similar things like music and kind of hanging out after work. But it did, I was very much a minority, like, by race and by gender. And I felt myself kind of feeling like I had to censor myself about things that I was interested in or I cared about. And I definitely did not see room for growth. That's for sure.
Do you think that was due in part to you being a woman or a Black woman, or just in general with the organization?
I felt like it was because I was a Black woman, but it really wasn't anything that I didn't care. It was fine. I was just like, this is not where I'm going to stay long term, but I'm going to get everything I can out of it. And then when it's time to go, I'm going to use the tools that I get from here and move into this other space. So it definitely wasn't anything that kept me up at night. It was just something that I was very clear about.
Right. And you had your plan anyway. So.
Yes.
So it sounds like it seems like it's important to have that backup plan no matter what, or not even a backup plan, just your exit strategy.
And to have
Right.
clarity about where you are and what you can get out of a situation. For me, it's very important. Like I'm more so about what's happening. Like give it to me, even if it's hard to chew and I can't swallow. You don't think I can swallow it? Like just give it to me and then let me figure it out. And I say that to myself, like, and the universe, like, give me the signs, and we'll work through it.
It's funny you say that because I find a lot of people on the West Coast don't want you to give it to them straight. Being an East Coast girl, I'm used to it, just being blunt, on straight, no chaser. And then moving out here, it's been a lot of, just say what you want people to hear, and
Do you find that there's a difference between East Coast and West Coast people?
Well, listen, ladies, I'm from the Bay Area, so we're talking Oakland.
True, yes.
Yeah,
true. You're right. What am I talking about?
Like, it don't get no realer. I mean, East Coast, stand up. But
hey.
Yeah, totally forgot Oakland. Yeah, so never mind. I take back.
I'm just trying to let y'all know where I'm really from.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
Edit. We're gonna edit that out so we don't start any problems.
Right.
I'm just reminding you.
That's so funny.
Yes.
So you've had some crazy, I'm sure, crazy moments with working with, AEG and Oprah. And also, I'm sure, with your own floral company. What was the craziest production moment you've had?
Oh, God, I've had so many. When I worked at AG, Justin Bieber was coming out with a movie. And say this was like 2000, maybe 2015, I don't know. But he was coming out with a movie. And for me, I don't know if it was my age or because I'm not like a believer. I just was like, oh, it's fine. It's great. Justin Bieber's coming out with a movie. We're going to do the premiere. We're just going to block these streets off and we're going to get a red carpet going. And we're going to announce that there are free tickets and we're going to fill the theater up with Bieber fans. And it's going to be awesome. The believers went crazy. It was like, call LAPD, call the fire department. They literally, it was just a crowd of teens that took over all of Regal LA Live, which is this massive movie theater. They were storming the lobby. We had to close the doors. You know what I mean? Like, didn't matter. They don't care about tickets or waiting in line or, forming something. It was just
any force necessary.
They literally stampeded the theater, and I'm talking about like the entire lobby, and they're like chanting like Justin, and I just didn't see it coming, and I totally was, my team and we weren't ready.
The force of those groupies were like overtaking your
it was
teeth.
just like, I don't even know. Like, just, just take Justin, get him out of here. And and close the doors, and we have to like shuffle everybody out. And they're now they're in the street. I mean, it was a humongous takeover of the theater, and I just didn't see it coming. And so I think about that because I was like, I totally underestimated the power of JB. I was really not ready.
It's interesting that his people didn't like either warn you or, or sit down and talk with the AEG team and be like, all right, here's what's going to happen.
This is a possibility.
Because I'm sure they go through this all the time.
And they may have, I don't know. I just remember like just being in shock. Like I was like, because we had a lot of streets blocked off and we totally put things in place.
Precautions,
and put stanchions up and did come at this time. And if you have this ticket, I mean, we did the things that those fans were they were not here for it. They were like, we're going inside.
Beware.
And I'm thinking to myself, like, there's like tens of thousands of you. I don't know how many thousands, but it's like thousands. Or like, you think Justin is going to be like, that one right there in the pink shirt, I love you, and let's like get married and go off into the sunset. You would think that was going to happen. They're like screaming and crying. It was just so insane. I had never seen it before. It was a sight to see.
Yeah. It's always difficult trying to foresee what the possibilities are with an event, like especially when you're dealing with high profile clientele. Have you had any other like high profile clients that you've worked with like personally now that you've kind of escaped the corporate world?
We have as a company a lot of high profile clients. I am happy to say I do not have any crazy stories from them because I am not here for any of that. No mishaps. It's all gravy, baby. But we've been blessed to be supported by Oprah, for instance. We've done florals for OWN. We do, as you know, Nikki, we do a lot of events. And so we've done Queen Sugar premiere for OWN. We've done multiple.
Hey, I love Queen Sugar.
We've done multiple Netflix premieres. We did the Napoli Ever After premiere for Netflix. That comes to the top of my head.
Nice.
We've done, Nike has done private events. Hennessy is a big client of ours. So we've done probably almost maybe more than 100 Hennessy dinners. And we've done huge weddings and awesome premieres for shows like Queen America with Catherine Zeta-Jones. We've done flower walls for our celebrity clients. And we've really not had anything too crazy happen. I mean, I think one of the craziest things that happened was I was doing this huge flower wall. It was the biggest flower wall I've ever done. It was 12 feet by 12 feet. And it was a massive undertaking because it was so large and we couldn't design the flower wall at the location. So we had to make the flower wall at our boutique in downtown LA, break it down into 3 sections. Yes.
What?
And then take it to Hollywood, put it back together again with flowers. And then the plan was when we get to Hollywood, we would finish it off in like the sections that needed more flowers. Well, we forgot, or someone forgot, the flowers.
Not naming no names.
The flowers at the boutique, and we're in Hollywood.
Oh, no.
Yes, so our boutique is in downtown LA. And I legit went to Trader Joe's on Hollywood and Vine, and I bought every stem in their flower department. And we used those flowers to finish off the flower wall.
That must have been expensive.
But it was not as expensive as if they would have complained and never used us again, or if they would have asked for a refund.
Right. That's so true.
Penny, because it was beautiful in the end. And it was an expensive mistake, like any mistake that you make in production.
Yeah, exactly. I don't think you guys really understand. Like a 12 by 12 flower wall needs to be built inside of the actual venue.
Exactly.
So that was amazing that you even like thought that you could handle that. That's like skill right there. What did you use to transport this?
It was really
Like a
Yeah, I
box
rented
truck?
a
Like,
truck and
how did you keep it up?
it was just I would do it very differently now, I'll tell you that. But I had the three-part wall built here, and then we built it in three sections, and then I just hired a team to lift it, and literally the one of the men is like never worked with me again. True story. Lifted into this oversized truck, obviously, and then when we get to Hollywood, we have to lift it out. It was too heavy, and it was probably, yes, too much to ask, but um it worked out. It worked out. The client was happy, and like I said, today I would definitely have done it differently. I just sometimes get into that mode, which I think happens when you work in events and production, where it's just like we have to get it done, and then that becomes like the bottom line, and there's really nothing else to talk about.
That's always a thing. Like you have to
Yes.
get it done. And I think that's what people don't realize. That's actually part of the reason why we wanted to start this podcast because it was just like people don't understand what goes on behind the scenes, like
Yeah.
what goes into production from all the vendors, the planners, everybody, the brand side, like everything involved. And you think you could just get into this industry and it's like, all right, you have this plan and it works out. Like the plan never
Yeah.
works out. Plan never works out. You always have to have plan A,
Yes,
B, C,
yes,
D, and it
yes,
has to
yes.
get
And the
done.
long hours, the stamina that you need, like the creativity that you need, the quick thinking that you need. That's all stuff that you can't really like learn. You have to have that innately. So
Yes.
good luck, people. Good luck. But now that we're dealing with COVID-19, how has that changed the way that you handle your business? I mean, it's like something that you've had to pivot, or has things kind of stayed the same, different? What have you seen?
I mean, I've definitely had to pivot. We have, as you all probably know, we can't do events. Like we just can't. And events were
Hmm.
such a huge part of our business. So as soon as the stay home order was enacted, all events were canceled, all weddings were postponed, and we really had to figure out how we were going to stay above water. And when I first opened Oldvine, I really did believe that we would be doing a lot of daily deliveries specifically to the downtown LA residents. And so that was really something that I was pushing as far as my business plan. Um, but I quickly became more of an events florist rather than a daily delivery florist. And because events, they take a lot of time from literally taking that first call from someone to pushing out a proposal to getting the proposal approved to staffing and all of that. It took up so much of my time that I definitely let my daily delivery, that side of my business, I kind of left it at the wayside. And now that we can't do events, I'm like, I got to push up my daily deliveries. Like I have to pump them up. They have to get to a point where they're keeping us afloat. And so that has been my focus for the past, what now, almost 2 months. And it's actually the first week or so was a little depressing. I was like, oh, people don't order from us. They only call us for events.
Right.
And then I hired someone early on, and I just let them know, like, look, because I am a small business, it's really just me and my business partner, who's also my partner in life. But he's working from home now, and his stuff has shifted, so he can't like give me as much as attention as maybe I think I need. So I brought someone up on to help me with strategy, and it was literally like get on the phone and just start calling people. So I had a call list, or several call lists actually, and I just started calling people, and they were like, call 50 to 75 people a day and let them know that you're delivering. And I did that.
Wow.
I did that. I've done more emails. I've posted blogs. We launched an air purifying plant line
Nice.
that's been taking off. So we've just really started focusing on getting these daily deliveries out there, birthdays, anniversaries, sympathy, thinking of you. Like flowers make everybody happy. I have not met a person yet. Although some people say, oh, I want succulents or orchids, and that's fine too. But it's a really masculine. We can do masculine floral arrangements. We've delivered to men for sure. So it's just really focusing on just getting these smaller arrangements more specific to, a client's needs, if it's a house plant or a succulent, and just really focusing on that. So that's a big way that we've shifted.
That's really interesting because it's not like how you first set up your business, but it's something that you now have to do just to kind of maintain the business that you love to do. Tell us more about what someone would get if they ordered from you. Do you have a specific style? Is there styles of floral designs that people should know about? And what is yours?
Yeah, I think every florist has their own style. A lot of it is maybe what we like. Like if someone sent me this, would I like it? I always do that. I always look at this arrangement before I go down and say, if someone sent me this, would I like it? So that's my first thought. And so I think it is a lot of it has to do with personal style. So for me, I like things really luxe and lush. So I like full arrangements. I love roses. So I'm always trying to pop a rose in there. Like I can't think of an arrangement that I've sent out recently that didn't include a rose. So I'm a big rose girl. I like lower arrangements. So for the most part, a lot of my arrangements are in maybe a 7-inch tall base is probably where I kind of stay in that range. But I'm happy to do taller. I sent out a taller arrangement just yesterday. I really like the freshest flowers. So to me, that makes a big difference. And obviously every florist will say, oh, we have the freshest flowers, but I literally legit buy my flowers the day of when it's time to send out an arrangement, just, from the flower mart, just to make sure that they last the longest. And, some people like other styles, and there are other florists out there that do, other styles, but I love like lush, bold, deep colors. I like light colors. I like whites. Sometimes I use greenery. That, a big thing now. Like people like eucalyptus and helleborus, and sometimes working with palm fronds. That's become a really popular thing to ask for, and so we do that as well for sure. It just really that type of arrangement. It's gotten very popular to add that eucalyptus. So I do like adding greens, Italian ruscus, but it's really to me, if you like a lush arrangement that's full of flowers and greenery, then that's you come here.
Yeah, it's interesting that you know so much about, not interesting, but it's cool that you know so much about the type of flowers. Did it take a long time to really learn and master?
It didn't take as long as maybe one would think. So first of all, when I started working for the florist at the in-house florist at the Four Seasons, I literally knew like a rose and a sunflower. I'm serious. If you showed me a daisy, I might be like, is that
okay, I'm doing good.
Like, are you sure? Like, I mean, I didn't know a lily. I was not
hydrangea.
I barely I'd be like, I know it starts with the H. Like, I really didn't know. Like, I knew a rose and a sunflower like the top of my head. Okay, I know those two. I want to say I'm one of those people where I'm a quick learn, right? But it's really because I make mistakes, if that makes sense. And I don't want...
You allow yourself
I
to
allow
do that.
myself to make mistakes, and I don't want to make the same mistake twice. So what I would do when I worked for the floral business that I was working for, and I will never forget, I posted this picture, and I thought they were garden roses, but they were actually ranunculus. And I posted it on social media, and I was like, it's probably like my first couple of months there, and I was like, get this beautiful, and mind you, he didn't have a social media before I came on. So I'm posting, get this beautiful arrangement of garden roses today for this price, and I'm saying like, oh, it's done. And then someone who worked there was like, those aren't garden roses, those are ranunculus. And I was like, I was floored. I was flabbergasted. I was embarrassed. I might as well have clocked out and went home and just said, I'm done. I was so like, I can't believe I did that. But what I didn't do any of those things. Obviously, I didn't leave. But what I told myself was like, I'm never making that mistake again. Like, I'm going to know these flowers. And that's kind of my personality. Like, I don't claim to know everything, obviously, but once I'm supposed to represent this company, and I'm going to know everything I'm supposed to know. And I'm supposed to know what these flowers are because I'm representing these flowers. And so, baby, she got it together. I was like, these are anemone, these are lilies, these are tiger lilies, these are Casablanca lilies, these are calla lilies. These are only available in late winter. These are only available in spring. I mean, I knew what I was doing by the time I left there. I'll tell you that. So now I can do it for my business.
Yeah, there's nothing like a mistake to get you on your P's
get you
and
right
Q's.
back where you need to be.
Yes.
Do you have any tips for us, like in terms of like, I want to get my home all spruced up? What are some great house plants that we can have, and air purifying plants that we could have in our home to like kind of spruce up our background, maybe when we're doing virtual events now, things like that?
So right now, I'm offering. What I did was I researched the most popular and, to me, the most beautiful and modern air purifying plants that are on the market right now, and there are a lot. So I narrowed it down. So I'm happy to share with you what I found. So snake plants, which are also called mother-in-law plants, are great air purifying plants, and they need little to no sun. And as far as watering is concerned, they only need to be watered every 5 to 10 days.
I can attest to that. I have snake plants,
Yes.
and I do not have a gardening thumb. I kill every plant. So, and they're still alive.
There you go.
So get you some snake plants.
Get you some snake plants. Get you some snake plants. But yes, snake plants are great. I mean, I'm the same as you. I don't have a green thumb, and I've killed enough plants to know which ones can survive Itika. So if they can survive me, they can also survive anybody else out there that's listening.
Right.
But yeah, snake plants are great air purifiers, and they're very easy to care for. Another one is the pothos plant. So pothos are they're a smaller house plant than a snake plant, but they grow very long. So they get very long and viney and drapey, and they too need little to no light. I think all plants need some light. I do, even if you say little to no. I think I should probably just practice saying little light. And again, water every 5 to 10 days. But it's the pothos. It's very lush green, and again, it's a great air purifier, and it's one of the easiest plants to grow, just like a snake plant. And most
nice. They call it the devil's ivy, I think it's called.
pothos. Yeah. There's nothing devilish about it, though. I love it.
I know. What's wrong with them?
I love it. Other good air purifying plants, which are also easy to care for, is the peace lily. And a peace lily, it can be a little like your grandma's plant, or they see it in church sometimes. So some people are like, it's not modern enough for them.
Too old, yeah.
But again, it's extremely easy to care for, and the peace lily, legit, because I've done this, can like die and come back to life and not take.
Yeah, I've actually had that.
They have multiple lives.
They have multiple lives. They will come back like they never left. And you're like, oh my God, nice. I've revived you. And they're like, no, I'll come back anyway. But yeah, they really are really good at improving air quality. And yeah, they really truly are. So they not only need low light and easy care, but they're very good at improving the air quality of your home or in the room that they're in. So I would also include the peace lily. Those are smaller plants. We also have larger, taller, like 6-foot indoor plants that I also think would be great for air, or are good air purifiers, like the areca palm tree and bird of paradise plants. Those are both tropical. Nice. And so they need more light and more water for sure, because they're from tropical environments. And so they thrive on light and water. So if you're in a space, if your home or apartment has a nice window that gets great lighting, and you will remember to water your plants and even spray the leaves, I would definitely suggest you invest in an Areca palm or a bird of paradise plant. And I'll tell you this, I've kept my Areca palm and my bird of paradise alive, but they are in my store and there's a big, window out on the street. And so they get that direct light. And we live, in LA where it's sunny a lot of the time.
Mm-hmm. Tell us a little bit about orchids, because I have an orchid and it's dead. Can I revive it?
So funny. People say you can revive orchids, and I probably should.
That's what I heard.
Know, but that's what I heard too. Because I too have an orchid that's dead, and just to test the theory, this dead orchid has been dead for a very, very, very
mine
long
too.
Time. And so I'm just like, these people out here who say they revive orchids, I don't know.
They lie.
Yeah, if it's a witchcraft or some type of voodoo.
Yeah.
But I surely have not been able to do it.
Okay, so I have to get rid of it. Sorry, we got a part.
I would say for the most part, and this is a good trick to know when you go out and buy orchids, never buy an orchid that's fully bloomed, meaning all of the blooms are open. If it's fully bloomed, it has essentially lived its entire lifespan and now it's on the decline.
Yeah. Well, that's good to know. I've killed all of them.
My mom-in-law is trying to get me to keep it, but I'm like, it's dead.
No. Yeah, it's dead. I would buy an orchid with several blooms that are small and closed that are waiting to open. And what generally happens is each bloom will open a week apart. So if there's 6 blooms, you're definitely going to have that orchid for 6 weeks. And then anytime after that is just like borrowed time. But it will live long and it does not require much water. So you literally should just if you're just like me, I have to water plants. Like I can't not water them. So for orchids, I just add an ice cube.
Yes, that's what they told me.
So just add an ice cube, and not every day. So just go a couple days. And if you're just like, I got to water it somehow, just add another ice cube. And also orchids hate extreme temperatures. So don't put it anywhere in your home that's too hot or anywhere in your home that gets too much of a draft. So if you're running your AC in the summer, the orchid is not going to respond well to that.
Yeah, the petals just literally started to drop off.
Yeah, it doesn't
like every morning.
It doesn't like it. It's like, just leave me be. I wanted to be somewhere.
Yeah.
So it really is ideal, and it can take a little while, but to find the perfect place in your home to keep your orchid. And then that's it. That's where it lives. And even if you're like, I really want to put it on this table though, but that table may not be the perfect place if it gets a draft or if it gets too much sun or if it's too, moist. So it just really is important to find a good place to keep your orchid in your home.
I feel like you should have a class,
I think
like a virtual class. Yeah, just send us the flowers from the market, and then we'll just set up spaces in our own home. Yeah, and we'll just put it together.
It's so much I want to do, and so I just appreciate having this opportunity to talk to you guys and whoever's listening. If they, if you or anyone else wants to know anything, I'm here.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Well, we've had fun chatting with you, but we wanted to see if you could leave us with one of your party favors for anybody that wanted to start their own floral business or coming up in the event space. What would you let them know?
I would let them know, and I've been reading this a lot, especially I think now with COVID going on and people really exploring things because they have more time that maybe they wouldn't before, is with anything new, whether you want to open your own floral business or any other type of business, it's really progress over perfection. So just go out there and do it. Don't wait for the perfect time. Don't wait for the perfect logo. Don't wait for the perfect location. Don't wait for the perfect amount of money in your bank account. Just do something to get you closer to your goal. That would be my
keep moving, guys. Favor. You have an idea out there and you really want to get it started. Just start and take that first step. Don't wait. Absolutely. Don't wait. Thank you so much for joining us. We had so much fun learning about your
Thank
florals
you.
and all about you.
Thank you so much.
Thank
And
you so
I'm like,
much.
any Justin Bieber fans out there, I love you guys. You guys just traumatize me.
I love that.
Well, if you guys want to reach out to Itika for any of your floral needs, you can catch her downtown LA at Oldvine Floral Shop. If you want to give them your
so we're
contact
at
information,
132 West
go
7th
right ahead.
Street. We're between Spring and Main in the Fashion District. And we are also online. If you want to order something online, you can join us or visit us at oldvineflorals.com. And we're also on IG, Facebook, LinkedIn, Twitter. At Oldvine Florals is our handle for all things social. All righty. Thank you, ladies.
Thank you for allowing us to crash your party. That's it for this episode. For any of your event production needs, you can always reach out to us on Instagram at the Party Crashers Podcast. Until next time, keep creating.